Welcome back, once again, ladies and gentlemen. I am TheFish, and this is going to be game 2 between WhiteRa and Nerchio. So Nerchio is going to be spawning as the red Zerg on the right side of the map, and WhiteRa, of course, is going to be spawning on the left side as the blue Protoss. So that was a pretty interesting last game. WhiteRa basically showing us how you can deal with Bling Muta. Now, I will say that, again, Nerchio's upgrades were not up to par with WhiteRa's, and he didn't really get the best engagements. But if you are a Protoss player and you are struggling to fight against the Mutalisk composition, that's a good way to deal with it. It's just get gateway units, get a ton of Blink Stalkers, and make sure you get that Psionic Storm upgrade for your Templar. It can really be devastating against packs of Lings and against packs of Mutalisks. And Nerchio made the mistake of clumping all his units together, which made them easy fodder for WhiteRa. But again, can't stress enough that if you're if you're a Protoss player and you're going up against that composition, you want to get a lot of Blink Stalkers and you want to get high Templar. Okay, so on to game 2. Again, this was played for the Playhem TV. It was a show match and it was a best of 5, so that puts WhiteRa up 1-0. So it looks like Nerchio is going to be going for a more conservative build this game. Well, the same build that he did last time, most likely, except that he'll probably be going for a single expansion. Meanwhile, WhiteRa deciding to forge fast expand on this map. It can be a little tough to defend this area, but this is WhiteRa we're talking about, so some good micro should be able to prevent any real difficulties with Zerglings or anything like that. One thing I might be weary of is I was forge fast expanding is some kind of a well, that you could either do some kind of a hidden hatchery, you could do Nidus Worm, something like that. There are some options that the Zerg players do have, although it can be pretty risky business. So WhiteRa going to be throwing down the Photon Cannon after Nexus, pretty standard, and that should come up just in time to deal with any sort of Ling aggression, but well, so Nerchio looks like he's going to be, well, he's getting, he did finish getting mining his gas, but he hasn't started a metabolic boost yet, so that's kind of weird. I guess he was just saving up his minerals for his hatchery. So, yeah, there's the upgrade starting, so pretty standard so far. WhiteRa deciding to go with a little bit of risky forge fast expand, but with some good probe micro there. No Zerglings are even going to be getting into his base, so something worth practicing if you're Protoss to try and get better, get into those better leagues, is work on your forge fast expansion on these weird maps where it can be difficult to do so. Sometimes taking the risk can be worth it, and sometimes if you see if you see a Zerg player throw down the spawning pool, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going for some early. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going for some early Zergling attack. They could. The 15 pool is pretty standard. If you're gonna be doing a fast, semi-fast, I guess, expansion. And this kind of build allows you to get a few drones and a queen over at your natural, right when it's finishing up, which is pretty good. So it's a good overlord positioning here by Nerchio. He was able to fly it up and over and around this photon cannon, so that he will be able to scout a little bit, but WhiteRa wisely throwing the Stargate down just as the overlord passes overhead, so Nerchio's probably not going to see that. Not going to see it right away anyway. Now Nerchio doing a little bit of funny business. He's decided to throw down a hatchery at the 6 o'clock position. And some pretty good Ling micro there to take out that Zealot with minimal losses. So, well, it looks like we may see another kind of macro game. But the interesting thing will be to see, why is Nerchio getting that third base? Is he trying to get 6 gas geysers again, like in the last game? Or is he going to maybe go for more of a roach-intensive build? That's what I like to do against Protoss. I think that roaches are a pretty good solid unit against balls of stalkers, and they're really good, of course, against zealots. But of course, they're not so good against some Robo Bay units. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. The WhiteRa coming out for WhiteRa, and it's pretty delayed warp gate research. So it looks like he's going to be doing some putting on some pressure with his air units, and then maybe following that up with some ground aggression. Nerchio, meanwhile, continuing to saturate up his bases, and both players pretty dead even in terms of harvesters. So, like I said before, you can get this 15 pool and still have a really good economic build as a Zerg player. Nerchio deciding to walk this queen all the way over down here. And it looks like he lost an overlord somewhere. Yeah, that overlord is going to be forfeit. And he's trying to work down these destructible rocks. That could take a while, but they will be worth it in the long run. If WhiteRa decides to go for a third base, having these taken out will be huge. I would also not be surprised to see him take out his own destructible rocks, just so that he has a better way of getting to his third and defending it. Now there's going to be a spore crawler here when this WhiteRa shows up, as well as a queen. So, but WhiteRa gets pretty good micro, especially against Zerg as an air unit. So we'll have to see what happens here. Meanwhile, he's getting a bunch of warp gates back at his main, and he's going to be simultaneously moving out with these units. It looks like he's probably going to be trying to take this gold base. Nerchio's, well, I guess his spidey sense is tingling. He's sensing something's coming up. But yeah, those Zerglings aren't going to do much against those. WhiteRa's Nerchio, and now Nerchio trying to work down these Voids with just a single queen and the Spore Crawler, which is just out of position here. And WhiteRa's going to back off a little bit. But this queen, ooh, run away, little queen, run! Got to run back to that Spore Crawler. He does put down a second one, and he's going to be repositioning it so that his workers can get back to work. So WhiteRa's not continuing to produce air units, but leaving those WhiteRa's there could just provide for some harassment. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's just going to move in, take out a few drones, and probably just back off. In fact, he's hold position there. Now Nerchio's almost done taking out his rocks. He's going to give it some links here, so he's going to see that this third base is going up. He's going to try to take out this pylon. Will the Zealots be able to deal with all these Zerglings? They probably will, but they will probably also force the cancel on this Nexus. So yeah, and these Zerglings are just going to run back home because they have no prayer beating all these Zealots. So that was a nice little move by Nerchio to try and at least delay WhiteRa a little bit. Meanwhile, these air units are continuing to be annoying over here at this third base. Creep is going to be connecting them, and now we see some roaches coming out. So we've got a macro hatch up. We've got the Roach Warren working on glial reconstitution. Where's your upgrades? Where's your upgrades? Nerchio, you have to work on that. Anyway, he's moving in. That's a lot of roaches now. His supplies has jumped up, and when you see that, it's a pretty good sign that he's pumping in a lot of roaches. And now he's going to be moving in here, and WhiteRa's ground forces are not prepared to deal with this. Some good force fields and a nice pickup by the Phoenix are going to keep WhiteRa in the game here, but there's just too many roaches, and WhiteRa's whole army is going to be taken out. Looks like now the WhiteRas are going to be forced to move in, and they will, it looks like, take out these roaches finally, which is actually surprising. I thought that Nerchio would be able to do a little bit more damage here, but I think these WhiteRas are going to be unstoppable. Nerchio coming in with even more units. He's really committing to this attack right now, even though his units are getting taken out slowly by these WhiteRas. 11 kills on this one now, 15 kills in total on those WhiteRas so far. But if WhiteRa loses this base, it could be problematic because he's even down one against Nerchio, and it looks like he will cancel it. He does cancel down, so he has a few extra minerals in the bank. Now Nerchio is going to be moving over here, and WhiteRa could be trapped on two bases against the pretty well macroing up Nerchio. So it looks like he's going to check for a base here, and then probably, I would imagine, he'll send a few lings to take out those rocks. No? WhiteRa now working with only air units, and he's way oversaturated. And what's his response is going to be to just throw out more and more gateways. He's he's got to get something together to deal with all these roaches, because if Nerchio just keeps macroing up, he could have a maxed out army very, very soon, and that could be very difficult for WhiteRa to deal with on 2 bases. But Nerchio deciding not to stick with the roaches, it looks like, and he's going to be transitioning into Ling Muta perhaps. Where's the spire? There's the spire. Meanwhile, Nerchio coming in with some more Zerglings here, sentries and some zealots trying desperately to hold it, but they won't be able to. More zealots being warped in. Only able to take out a few more Zerglings before finally getting taken out. Nerchio wisely splitting up his Zerglings to work on this Nexus while the rest of them take out all the zealots. WhiteRa not giving up on this base. He realizes that he's got to do something here, and he warps in even more zealots. And that's actually going to force the retreat from Nerchio. So great hold by WhiteRa. He was not afraid to throw away, a few units to try and hold that. And in the meantime, he's got his own zealots. Sorry I missed that, guys, but he did manage to harass this drone line. He didn't take out too many, it doesn't look like. Let's check the units lost tab. So it's actually going to be favoring our Zerg player a little bit. WhiteRa's lost a lot of resources and units, and I'm not really sure why he tried to come in with the Dark Templar there. He knew there were Spore Crawlers, but could just be part of the overall harassment strategy of sending a Dark Templar to every base, which can be really annoying. As a Zerg player, I know, because a lot of times you don't have a lot of Spore Crawlers. Now it looks like we're going to have a Link Corruptor battle. I'm not sure why he got all these Corruptors, because the WhiteRa doesn't have any. Where is WhiteRa's air units? Well, anyway, Nerchio coming in, he's proking and prodding, he's retaining map control, he's doing everything that he needs to do, he's checking to see if WhiteRa's got bases, and some good micros. He's gonna put some damage down on these zealots and back off. But again, we're seeing upgrades favoring WhiteRa, and that could be a symptom of the recently how they lowered the resource costs for some of these upgrades. Now, Nerchio thinking about moving into the main, but ooh, his army gets cleaved right in half, and it's pretty bad news for Nerchio. It looks like a lot of his units are going to get taken out here, and ouch, ouch, ouch. So WhiteRa slowly working his way back into this game. Nerchio, oh man, you got to work on those upgrades, Nerchio. You need more upgrades. But he's going to be close to maxed out pretty soon. He's probably going to be thinking about taking this 4th base. And now WhiteRa's going to be saying to himself, alright, what can I do here? He's got the tech advantage, and he's got the upgrade advantage. Now that he's got this base up and running, he did finally manage to get up and running with a great hold using zealots. I would imagine that what he's going to try to do is hold out against this army until he gets maxed, and then move in for the kill. Now this is going to be a huge battle right here. Nerchio backing himself into a little bit of a corner right now. I'm not sure if I agree with this. Again, he's in a really bad position. And no detection for Nerchio, so these Dark Templars are going to be doing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, a huge battle going on between all the charge lots, and these Immortals are going to be doing some pretty good work. And it looks like this Roach Ball is going to be taken out pretty slowly. More roaches coming to try and reinforce here, but there's overwhelming numbers, overwhelming upgrades. You can see how much damage these Stalkers are doing against the roaches. It's not pretty. Nerchio has just lost. I feel like Nerchio just lost his main basically, because really that was his opportunity to get. He's way ahead in supply. Now it's closer to even, and now he's on his back foot again. And again, with these Corruptors not really doing anything. I guess he was expecting there to be carelessly losing some Overlords too. I guess he must have been expecting Colossi, but there were no Colossi on the field for WhiteRa. This one Zerglings will be scouting out this base, and this game looks like it's getting out of control for Nerchio. He's really struggling to get money together. He's throwing down an infestation pit to try and get some more cost-effective units. And he's running his Zerglings into a ball of units, and again, these Dark Templars are doing a lot of damage. So we don't see upgrades. No burrow for these roaches, so he can heal them. No attack upgrades at all, and I mean, you gotta start wondering, at what point does Nerchio think that he's gonna get upgrades? Pathogen glands coming down on a hive tech. But, man. Now, WhiteRa's gonna be moving in here. This is gonna be basically going for the kill, I think. And it's gonna be a pretty good fight. If Nerchio can micro properly, he should be able to take out these zealots and then be able to go after the army, but kind of an awkward engagement right now. The Destructors, again, not doing much of anything, and Nerchio's just got his ball of roaches to defend with. And the Archon doing a lot of damage before getting taken out. WhiteRa coming in with some more units, and this is going to come down to the wire, folks. But Nerchio, he's just lost all his overlords, and he's got no way of producing more units. And this looks like it's going to be checkmate. Nerchio not even trying to defend at this point. And I said it before, but I'll say it again. I think that a few extra upgrades could really turn this game around. Nerchio now, last-ditch attempt at trying to defend against this army, but it won't be enough. Good game, saves Nerchio. So by my count, WhiteRa is now up 2-0 in this series. So pretty cool little fight. WhiteRa just was unflappable that game, even though he was, again, I'd say during the mid-game, Nerchio was ahead. He had the advantage, and he just somehow managed to throw it away. So good defending by WhiteRa. And we're going to move on to game number 3. Thanks for watching.